أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين. صدق الله العظيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Last week we began the Tafseer, the commentary on the Surah Kafiroon, and how the background of this surah, in the context of in which this surah was revealed, was that the non-believers, the kuffar of Makkah, a certain group of them, the leaders of the kuffar, they came and they tried to compromise with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And they offered the compromise that we will worship your deen for 1 year and you worship our religion for 1 year. Or on the other hand, they offer, and some narration it comes that they offered wealth, except and so on and so forth, to try and stop Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam from propagating his deen. And so this was offered as a compromise. But in return, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this surah was revealed that there is no compromise in the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions that there is no compromise in the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is instructed to say to these people, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ. Say, O you, O kafirun, and I explained last week, what does the word kafir mean? To deny and to reject. And these people, they deny the favors of Allah, they deny the blessings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam upon these people. So the surah in total has 6 verses. So the first verse, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ, was covered last week. Then after this there are 5 verses. Now last time you look at verse 2, 3, 4 and 5, they seem very similar and it seems like a repetition is happening. So the second verse, لا أعبد ما تعبدون, I do not worship that which you worship, and ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد, neither do you worship that which I worship, ولا أنا عابد ما. So this was verse 2 and 3, and the verse 4 and 5. And neither am I ever going to worship that which you worship, and neither are you going to be worshippers of that which I worship. So explaining this repetition, the ulama, they explain there are certain reasons for why this repetition is happening, or what it seems like a repetition. So the first commentary, there are multiple commentaries that have been given. One of the reasons is that in verse 2 and 3, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the present tense. That I am not going to worship now that which you are worshipping now, and وَلَا أَنْتُمْ عَابِدُونَ مَا أَعْبُدُ, and neither are you going to worship now that which I am worshipping. And verses 4 and 5 are referring to the future, mustaqbil. And neither am I ever going to in the future worship that which you worship, and you as well, وَلَا أَنْتُمْ عَابِدُونَ, neither are you ever going to in the future worship that which I worship. So one of the explanations is that verses 2 and 3 are referring to the present tense, and verses 4 and 5 are referring to future tense. So this is one of the explanations. Another explanation given is that the word ma la a'budu ma ta'budun. Here the word ma in the second verse and second and third is in the meaning of ma mawsula, in the meaning of a pronoun. That I do not worship that the false gods that which you worship, and neither do you worship that the being that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I worship. And in the verses 4 and 5, this ma is in the meaning of ma masdariyah. Simply explained, and neither do I worship in a manner that you worship, and neither do you worship in a manner that which I worship. So verses 2 and 3 are talking about the object of worship, and the verses 4 and 5 are talking about the methodology, in the way the worship is being conducted. So verses 2 and 3 in the second explanation is talking about the object of worship, that the being that I worship is not the same as that you worship. So it's a contrast of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to their false gods. And verses 4 and 5 are talking about the manner and the methodology of which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is worshipping. That I worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by performing salah, doing worship, prostrating before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And your worship is something else, it's not the same. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to their worship some place in the Quran. وَمَا كَانَ صَلَاتُمْ عِنْدَ الْبَيْتِ إِلَّا مُكَاءً وَتَصْدِيًا. That when they used to circulate the Kaaba and make tawaf, they used to just clap and they used to engage in futile acts, and they never used to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling these people that even the being that I have been worshipping, you have never worshipped that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even though Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to these people in the Quran, you have to ask them, وَلَئِنْ سَأَلْتَهُمْ مَنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ لَيَقُولُنَّ اللَّهِ. If you were to ask them who created the heavens and the earth, they would say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And even in another place in the Quran, they used to leave portions for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they used to leave portions for their false gods as well. But the reason this has been completely negated is that the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala requires complete oneness, complete tawheed. When you even ascribe a small portion, even if there's 99% tawheed, oneness of Allah, and there is a small portion of shirk, then this is not classed as we are not worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So worship of Allah is only there when a person is 100%, he worships Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling these people, never have I worshipped the being that you have worshipped, and even the manner in which I worship Allah is different to the manner in which you worship your false gods. So we are completely different. And another explanation that has been given in the verse regarding verses 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 is that this is a repetition, and the tense is the same, and also the meaning of the ma is in the meaning of a pronoun, in the meaning of ma mawsula, and it's just sometimes this happens in the Quran when the word is repeated, and this gives the benefit of emphasis. Even in Surah Alam Nashrah, فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا, the words are repeated, and this gives an emphasis. Even in English, when someone he's saying something and he wants to convey a point, and he gets angry, then sometimes you repeat the word, you repeat the sentence to get your point across, to lay emphasis on whatever statement you are making. So another benefit is that the emphasis. Like I mentioned, regarding these people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word abiduna. Abiduna is a noun and not a verb. And a noun is more powerful than a verb because it has no tense. So these people in their past, in the present, and in the future, that these people are never going to believe. They never have believed in the past. They're not going to believe now, and neither in the future they are going to believe. That these people, their fate is sealed. They will stay steadfast on their disbelief, and in this manner, they will pass away. And this is what happened. This group of non-believers, they came to Rasulullah to try and compromise. These verses, they fit these people perfectly, and these people died in a state of disbelief, and they left this world in this manner. And then in the final verse, لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينِ, and for you is your religion only, and for me is my deen, my religion only. So here, the normal sequence of the sentence would have been دِينُكُمْ لَكُمْ. So دِينُكُمْ would have been first. But now the sequence has been shifted, and lakum has been brought first. When this happens in Arabic, it gives the benefit of hasr. This meaning of only is exclusive. That even in Surah Fatiha, when you read إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ, so one is you say نَعْبُدُكَ, we worship you, that could imply we worship other beings as well. But when you say إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ, only you do we worship, you're making it exclusive. So here these people are being told, Lakum, your religion, deenukum, is only for you, and my deen is only for me. So one of the meanings of deen, like commonly known that comes in the Quran, is for the way of life, your religion. But also another meaning of the word deen, like we read in Surah Fatir, Maliki Yawmiddin, the owner of the day of judgment. Because the word deen comes from dain. Like you say in Arabic, saying, Kama tadinu tudanu, like how you deal with others, you will be dealt. So your judgment is for you. Your actions you are doing, because of your actions, you will be dealt accordingly, and I will be dealt according to my actions. You people will face the consequences of your actions, and I will face the consequence of your actions. Because you people are so steadfast hell-bent on your kufr and disbelief, and you not willing to let go, you shall soon you shall see, let us see the what consequence we face. So you people, you shall soon see the consequences of your actions, and you shall face your judgment in the hereafter. Lakum dinukum and waliyadin, and I shall face the consequence of my actions. I will be dealt accordingly. So for you is your own judgment, and for me is my own judgment. And one final point to note on this ayah: waliyadin, lakum dinukum waliyadin. Normally, you should here it should have been waliyadini. There should have been a ya at the end. Hence for me is my deen. But sometimes this ya is omitted, and it has the final ya has been removed, and this has a few benefits. One of them is that it gives the benefit when you is used for exclamation. And another reason is that when even in dua, when a person makes dua, a lot of the times you use Rabbi ghafirli, or my Rabb forgive me. In Arabic it should have been Rabbi ghafirli. For example, Rabbi zidni ilma, a ya should have been brought, but this ya is omitted, and the benefit of that is when we are desperate before Allah and so cry to Allah, so it shows the emphatic power with which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declares that this is His deen. This is my deen. This is my deen, and for you is your own deen. So this was this surah in brief. We went over this surah. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to understand this surah. So in this surah, these people have been told. So remember, so we should try to understand. It's not like Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not have worry and concern for these people, and he just told them, "Lakum dinukum waliyadin." Like I said, if you look at the context in which the surah was revealed, after many years of Rasulullah making an effort in Makkah, towards the final period of the Makkah life, before the migration of Rasulullah to Medina, this surah was revealed. So Nabi Sallallahu had constantly been making an effort upon these people, and finally, when these people, from Allah it was decreed that these people are never going to change their ways, then this surah was revealed, and in here Nabi Sallallahu was instructed to say to these people, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ, and to the end, لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينِ. Not that Nabi Sallallahu did not care about these people and he left these people and he was happy with them on their disbelief, but no, he was told from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that the fate of these people had been sealed and these people were never going to change. So at least Nabi Sallallahu he came and he told these people, and this surah was revealed before them. So after this surah was revealed, obviously the non-believers, it was an insult to them, and they aggravated them much more, and they increased their persecution of Rasulullah and the Muslims. But shortly, because after this, the job of a da'i and invited to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to invite people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when now here Nabi Sallallahu has been told that these for them, lakum dinukum waliyadin, this was a hint that Nabi Sallallahu is going to shortly migrate from Makkah to Medina, because here he has propagated the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but these people are never going to change. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to understand and to take lessons from the Quran and to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the manner shown to us by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from falling into shirk and kufr. Ameen. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.